lesson, not for discussion. We play with drums like shit is percussion. Stay with a hammer like this is construction. Drink too much Henny, might shoot up.
What's good, YouTube, man? It's Clutch. We're back out with another video. Today's video with the top 3 best point guard builds in NBA 2K20 as of patch 10. Now, like I promised 2 videos ago, I told you guys I was bringing back this series because based on the support on my top 3 best build video, that video has almost 200k views in almost 2 weeks. In less than 2 weeks, that is absolutely insane. So I gotta bring back this series. I also want to say, make sure you guys do hit that like button and subscribe because these videos do take a long time to make. So if you could show your appreciation by hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, it would mean a lot. I'm making this sort of content for you guys. Now, if you don't know, we're going to be doing point guards, shooting guards, small forwards, power forwards, and centers. Today we are doing the point guards, but just keep that in mind. If you don't really care for point guards, just know I'll be doing other positions in future videos. But like I said, we're doing top 3 best point guard builds as of patch 10. Let's get straight into it. Now, the very first build of this video is going to be the two-way slashing playmaker. Very nice build. Obviously, it's a point guard. No other position. Make sure it's a point guard, and this other stuff does not matter. That's personal preference. Now, moving on to skill breakdown. With this build, there is only one pie chart you can use to make this build, and is this one, the defensive playmaking slashing or two-way slashing playmaker. Is pretty simple. It's going to have great defense. Going to be able to speed boost, great shooting, and can still get contact dunks. It's going to be a very nice build. Make sure you guys pick this pie chart. Now, moving on to physical profile. There's 3 physical profiles I could see you picking: either all agility, and vertical, or the balanced pie chart. Now, if you're one of those people that wants to have a little bit of strength on their guard, you're going to want to pick balanced pie chart. If you want to have higher vertical, you're going to want to go with this one. If you don't care about vertical, you just want all that speed, go with this one. I recommend you go with this one though, because look at the speed difference. 94 speed to a 95 speed is only a 1 point difference. That is not a difference at all. But look at the vertical, 83 vertical compared to a 95. That is huge. 12 point difference. You can live with -1 speed, but that plus 12 vertical, you gotta have that. And I would recommend this one too, but we are gonna be picking this one. Now, moving on to attributes, man, make sure you guys do it just like this so we get the maximum badges possible. This build is going to be getting 61 badges. You are gonna max out your close shot. You also are gonna max out your driving layup. Also max out your driving dunk, and that's going to be it for finishing. Now, moving on to shooting, you are going to max out your mid-range shot, also max out your 3-point shot, also max out your free throw, and your post fade. You're going to put this to a 70, which is 1 point off of the max. So you get 10 shooting badges. Now, moving on to playmaking, same thing with pass accuracy. Put this to an 88, which is 1 point off of the max. Yep, just like that. And max out your ball handling, so you get 20 playmaking badges. Now, moving on to defense, you are going to max out your perimeter defense, also max out your lateral quickness, also max out your steal, and these last 30 something upgrades, you're going to put them to your defensive rebounding, so you get 20 defensive badges. And you guys can see, here's the build. You get 20 defensive, 20 playmaking, 10 shooting, and 11 finishing. You can add that up. That's a total of 61 badges for this two-way slashing playmaker build. This is the absolute most amount of badges you can get to make this two-way slashing playmaker build. Everybody knows this is the absolute best way to make this build. So make sure you guys make it just like this. It's going to be very nice. Now, moving on to this other stuff, man, body shape does not matter. If you want to pick define, like I said, it doesn't matter. I think I'm going to just go built. You want to make your player define, compact, solid, however you want your player to look, go ahead and do that. Me personally, I'm going to just pick built. Now, moving on to the height with this build, I would personally recommend you go 6'5". And the reason for that is so you're still going to be able to speed boost. You're going to be a little bit taller, so you're going to have some better defense. You still have a 91 speed. Look at your driving dunk. You have an 87 driving dunk. If you did not know, if you have an 85 driving dunk or higher, you are going to be able to get the elite, the small, and the pro contact dunks off rip as soon as you max out your driving dunk. It's going to be very nice. Make the player 6'5". Now, moving on to the weight, I highly recommend you just lower it all the way down for better acceleration. Now, if you're one of those people that wants higher weight, especially if you pick balanced pie chart, you can really max the weight out if you want to. It's not a big deal, but I'm gonna just do lowest weight for better acceleration, better lateral quickness. Now, moving on to wingspan with this build, I know some people are thinking, oh, it's a 6'5" player, I don't want to have tiny T-Rex arms. If you're one of those people, I completely understand. The max I would go with my wingspan is going to be 1 below the default, and the reason why I'm telling you that, because you have longer wingspan than the minimum wingspan, but you can still speed boost. As soon as you max out your ball handling, you're going to be able to speed boost with this wingspan. If you want longer arms, go with this, but I personally recommend you lower it all the way down to get better shooting and better ball handling. Now, moving on to takeovers, man, you get a wide variety of takeover options here. It's either playmaker, slasher, lockdown, or shot creator. Me personally, I would go with slasher. In the past, I used to think that shot creator was the best option, but looking into it, I think slasher is the best option. It boosts the most attributes possible. I highly recommend you pick slasher, but if you want to pick any of these other options, go ahead and do that. I recommend you pick slasher though. And you guys can see, Here's the build. You have built a two-way slashing playmaker similar to Russell Westbrook, Steve Francis, and Ja Morant. This is definitely a Russell Westbrook build. Now I'm going to show you guys the best badges for this build. You got 61 badges. I got to show you guys my personal things of what I would put these badges on. I'll put this to 99 overall real quick. Now you got 11 finishing badges. Like I said, you're going to be able to get every single contact dunk besides big man. You're not a center, obviously. So you want gold contact finishers, so you get contact dunks. Pretty simple. You also want giant slayer. You are only 6'5". This badge is to activate when you go up against anybody that's 6'10" or taller. I highly recommend that badge. I also recommend slithery finishers. That'll be drive a lot better. Now you only got 2 upgrades left. If you're one of those people that likes catching alley-oops to their guard, I highly recommend you throw on Lob City Finisher. If you don't really care for catching alley-oops to your point guard, I'd probably throw on Fancy Footwork. I think that's what I'm gonna do personally. There's plenty of good options. You want Consistent Finisher, Acrobat, Lob City, or Relentless Finisher, go ahead and do that. This is what I'm doing personally though. Now moving on to shooting badges, only 10 shooting badges. You got to compromise a lot here. You want Gold Quick Draw. This badge you got to have on. You don't have this badge on, you're not gonna be able to shoot. It's that simple. Range extender, I recommend you throw this badge on gold as well so you can shoot deeper. Now you only got 4 upgrades left. I think I'm gonna do Hot Zone Hunter Silver and Silver difficult shots. If you have difficult shots that help you fade a lot better in Hot Zone Hunter, it's going to help you shoot a lot better if you have all your hot zones. I think that's going to be the best balanced combination. Again, with only 10 shooting badges, you have to compromise a lot on some other badges, so keep that in mind. If you want something different, Green Machine's not a bad option. Catch and Shoot, Deadeye, there's plenty of good options. Go ahead and change it up. That's what I'm doing personally though. Now moving on to playmaking badges, 20 playmaking badges, going to be 5 Hall of Fames. You want handles for days, Quick First Step, Space Creator, Silver Unpluggable, and Hall of Fame tie handles. Now looking at this again, I only got 2 badges left, and I did want to throw in Floor General or Dimer, so I'm going to have to sacrifice on some badges. I think I'm going to do this so I can squeeze in a Hall of Fame Floor General or Dimer, but if you don't really care about those badges, honestly, I would probably just do these 5 Hall of Fame badges. But if you want Dimer, Floor General, Flashy Pass, Lob City, you have to compromise, do something like that. I think that's going to be the best balance. Now, you want Floor General, go ahead and throw that on. You want Dimer, throw that on. You get what I'm trying to say, but like I said, you don't want those badges, just do it just like this. This is going to be the best options. Now moving on to defensive badges, 20 defensive badges. That's going to be 5 Hall of Fame defensive badges. It's going to be very nice. This build is going to clamp people up. Now you want Hall of Fame clamps so you can clamp people up. Hall of Fame Intimidator, Hall of Fame Pick Dodger. Hall of Fame Pick Dodgers to help you fight through Hall of Fame brick wall screens. Intimidators to make people miss shots. And clamps is going to help you clamp that opposing ball handler. Now you only got 8 upgrades left. I personally recommend you throw on Interceptor. You have a very high steal with this build. You're going to catch a lot of interceptions. That's going to be a very good badge for you. Now you only got 1 Hall of Fame badge left. You can go a couple different ways with this. If you're playing threes, you could probably throw on Chase Down Artist. I think I'm going to do Pogo Stick personally though. If you're guarding an ISO player, you need to jump up and down and contest a shot. This badge will help you do that. To be a very nice badge. You want Defensive Leader, Pickpocket. There's plenty of good badges. I think this is what I'm doing personally though. But that's build number 1, man. Let's get straight into build number 2 of this video. Moving on to build number 2 of this video, it's going to be the 64 badge slashing playmaker build. Obviously make it a point guard, and this other stuff does not matter, that's personal preference. Now moving on to skill breakdown, there are a couple pie charts you can choose to make this slashing playmaker. You can pick this one, you can pick all playmaking, or you can even pick defensive and playmaking. Now I know there's going to be some people arguing that the all playmaking pie chart is the best slashing playmaker, the best way to make the slashing playmaker, which I mean I could see that, but we are going to be picking this pie chart in today's video because it's going to get the maximum badges possible. You're going to have great defense, great finishing, good shooting, and great playmaking. Highly recommend you pick this pie chart. Now moving on to physical profile, there's only 2 physical profiles I would pick personally, either all agility or the agility and vertical. I recommend you pick this one personally though, because you're a slashing playmaker. You need high vertical so you can get out there and dunk. It's that simple. I recommend you pick this one. This one's vertical is too low in my opinion. 95 speed to a 92 speed is not a big difference. But the vertical, 83 vertical to a 95 vertical, that's a big difference. I recommend you pick this pie chart. Now moving on to attributes, man, make sure you guys do it just like this so you get 64 badges. You are going to max out your close shot. You also are going to max out your driving layup. Also max out your driving dunk. And your stand dunk, you're just going to put this up +1 to a 33 so you get 20 finishing badges. Now moving on to shooting, you're going to max out your mid-range shot. Also max out your 3-point shot. Also max out your free throw and your post fade. You are going to max it. Actually, don't max it out. Let me just make sure. You're going to put this to an 80, which is 1 point off of max. Now moving on to playmaking, you're going to put your pass accuracy 1 point off of max to an 88, just like that. Now moving on to ball handling, you are going to max this out so you get 22 playmaking badges. Now these last 140 upgrades, they're going towards your defense. You're gonna max out your perimeter defense, also max out your lateral quickness, also max out your steal. And these last remaining upgrades, you're gonna put them to your defensive rebounding, and that's gonna give you 9 defensive badges. And you guys can see, here's the build. You get 20 finishing, 13 shooting, 22 playmaking, and 9 defensive and rebounding. You can add that up. That's a total of 64 badges with slashing playmaker build. This is a very solid build. If you guys did not know, the 65 badges is the maximum badges you can get on a build, and this build has 64 badges. This build is insane. Now I know there is a slashing playmaker with 65 badges. I already uploaded a video on that in case you're curious to see. The only bad thing about that build is it doesn't have any defensive badges. It has better offense, better finishing, and better playmaking, but you're lacking. You only get 1 defensive badge on that build, so I personally think this is the best slashing playmaker build. Now moving on to this other stuff, man, body shape does not matter. I think I'm going to just pick build. Like I said, you want to make your player burly, slight, compact, defined. It does not matter whatsoever. However you want your player to look, go ahead and do that. Me personally, I'm just pick build. Now moving on to the height. Again with this build, I recommend you pick 6'5". Same thing here. You're tall enough to play decent defense. You still can speed boost. You still have really good speed, and your driving dunk is at 90. You're going to be able to get every single contact dunk besides big man because you're not a center, obviously. Something I might be better about this build is this build has Hall of Fame finishing badges. Now both builds can get contact dunks, the two-way slashing playmaker and the slashing playmaker, but this one has Hall of Fame finishing badge as opposed to the other one, so it's going to be able to dunk a lot better. So that's something to keep in mind with this build. You still got good defense, but it's just something to keep in mind. I recommend you make the build 6'5". Now moving on to the weight. Again, lower the weight all the way down. That's what I'm doing personally to get better acceleration, better lateral quickness. Now moving on to the wingspan with this build, I recommend you lower it all the way down so you get better shooting and better ball handling. Now again, I know some people are going to be saying, I don't want tiny T-Rex arms with a 6'5" player. If you're one of those people, I recommend you put the wingspan in the middle to 81.6. You're still going to be able to speed with that ball handling, and you're not losing anything. You have decently long wingspan to play good defense. If you want longer wingspan, go with this. But if you don't care, I recommend you lower it all the way down for the better shooting and the better ball handling. Now moving on to takeovers, you get a wide variety of takeover options here to your slasher, playmaker, shot creator. I personally recommend, again, picking slasher. It's going to boost your most attributes possible. When you got Hall of Fame finishing badges with contact dunk animations, you're going to be a beast when you have the slashing takeover. So it's going to be very nice. I recommend you pick this. You want shot creator, playmaker, go ahead and do that. Me personally though, I'm going to pick slasher. And you guys can see, here's the build. You have built a slashing playmaker similar to Derrick Rose, Russell Westbrook, and Ja Morant. 64 badges. Now I'm going to show you guys the best badges for this build. We're going to get straight into it. We finna go crazy with these 64 badges. Let's get this out of the way, man. Put this to 99 overall real quick. Just like that. Now you guys can see 20 finishing badges. Like I said, that's 5 Hall of Fame badges. You're going to be able to get every single contact dunk animations besides big man because you're not a center. So you want to keep that in mind. You want Hall of Fame contact finishers so you can get contact dunks. Very simple. Definitely need that badge. I also recommend throwing Giant Slayer. You are only 6'5". This badge is going to activate when you go up against anybody that's 6'10" or taller, so keep that in mind. I also recommend Solidity Finisher to help you drive a lot better. I also recommend throwing Lob City Finisher with this build. You have a 90 driving dunk, you have Slash for Takeover. You're going to be able to catch some very nice alley-oops with this build. This badge will help you do that. So make sure you guys throw that on. Now you got 4 upgrades left. There's a couple different ways you can go with this. You can go Relentless Finisher, Fancy Footwork, Consistent Finisher, or Acrobat. I'm going to recommend throwing Fancy Footwork. Do hop stats going to make you more harder to guard. So that's what I'm going to do personally. But if you want any other badge, there's plenty of good options. Go ahead and do it. Now moving on to shooting badges, 13 shooting badges. This build actually gets 3 more shooting badges than the last build, so it's pretty nice. You want gold quick draw again so you can shoot. You don't have this badge on, you're not gonna be able to shoot that simple. I also recommend throwing range extender gold to help you shoot a lot deeper. Now you got 7 upgrades left. I highly recommend Hot Zone Hunter gold. You have our hot zones, this badge help you shoot so much better. Now you got 4 upgrades left. You can either do 1 gold and 1 bronze. I'm gonna do silver difficult shots and silver green machine. I think it's gonna be the best balanced combination. But like I said, you want to change these badges up, do whatever you want to do. It's completely up to you. It's your build at the end of the day. That's what I'm doing personally. Now moving on to playmaking badges, 22 playmaking badges. This build gets 2 extra playmaking badges and a 2-way slashing playmaker. You want Hall of Fame handles for days, quick first step, space creator, silver unpluckable, and Hall of Fame tie handles. Now you got 4 upgrades left. A good thing about this build is it has 2 extra playmaking badges. You don't have to sacrifice on any badges with this build, so it's to be pretty nice. Whatever badge you want to do, you want Flashy Passer, Floor General, Lob City, Dimer, or Bailout, go ahead and do that. I'm going to just do Dimer, but if you want any of those badges I just listed, or even Needle Threader, Stop and Go, Do whatever you want to do. This is what I'm doing personally. Now moving on to defensive badges. 9 defensive badges. Here's what the build lacks. This build has 11 less defensive badges than the two-way slashing playmaker, but 9 defensive badges, in my opinion, is still plenty to play great defense. You want gold clamps, gold intimidator, and gold pick dodger. Gold pick dodgers to help you fight through Hall of Fame brick wall screens, intimidators to make people miss shots, and clamps to help you clamp that opposing ball handler. You gotta throw these 3 badges on. I can't see you throwing on any other badges besides these. Make sure you guys throw these same 3 badges on. Now that's build number 2, man. Let's get straight into the final build of this video. Now moving on to the final build of this video, we got the scoring machine build. This is a very nice point guard build. I'm going to show you guys the best way to make it. So make sure you guys choose point guard, and this other stuff does not matter. That's personal preference. Now moving on to skill breakdown, when you're making a scoring machine, there's 2 pie charts you can use to make this build. Either this one or the playmaking and shooting. Now the only benefit I can really see from picking this pie chart is you're going to have more playmaking badges than the second one, which I mean is pretty nice. If you want better playmaking, pick this one, but we are going to be picking this one because honestly the playmaking's still good, and I feel like this one's better because it has the same shooting, but the finishing is way better on this build. It's going to be able to get contact dunks and Hall of Fame finishing badges. It's going to be very nice, and the defense is pretty much the exact same. I recommend you pick this pie chart. Now moving on to physical profile with this build, you can either pick all agility or agility and vertical. Again, a scoring machine, it can shoot and it can dunk very good. I recommend you pick the high vertical one, which is this pie chart. The speed difference is not big. 84 speed to 88 speed is only 4-point difference. Not a big deal, but look at the vertical. 78 vertical to a 91 vertical. That's a 13-point difference. That is huge in my opinion. I recommend you pick this pie chart. If you want all agility, go ahead and do that. Me personally, I recommend you pick this one. Now moving on to attributes, man. Make sure you guys do it just like this, so you get the maximum badges possible. You are going to max out your close shot, also max out your driving layup, also max out your driving dunk, and your standing dunk, you are going to put this to a 34, I think 35, so you get 16 finishing badges. Now moving on to shooting, you're going to max out your mid-range shot. Actually, you're going to max out every single shooting stat, so you're going to be able to get 21 shooting badges. It's going to be very nice. Max out your post fade as well. You guys see 21 shooting badges. Now moving on to playmaking, you're going to put your pass accuracy to a 79. Now let me just explain something real quick. I know you guys are thinking, why don't you just max it out to an 82? You cannot do that. If you want the build to say scoring machine, the pass accuracy cannot be higher than a 79. Just keep that in mind. If you put it to an 80, 81, or 82, it's going to change your name to playmaking shot creator or offensive threat. I forgot. It's one of those though. So make sure it's a 79. You want to say scoring machine. Now ball handling, max this out. Now moving on to defense, you're going to put your interior defense +2 to a 37. You're going to max out your perimeter defense, also max out your lateral quickness, also max out your steal. And these remaining upgrades, you're going to put them to your defensive rebounding to max that out. And you guys can see, here's the build. You get 16 finishing, 21 shooting, 12 playmaking, and 8 defensive rebounding. You can add that up. That's a total of 57 badges for the scoring machine build. That's a very solid amount of badges. Yeah, this build has the lowest amount of badges out of the other 2 builds, but this build might be the best for some people because it does have the best shooting. It still has great finishing. The playmaking and the defense is a little low. The defense is plenty fine, but playmaking is kind of low. But it's still going to be good. You're still going to be able to dribble. But like I said, this build might be the best for some people that want to have the best shooting possible, because this one has the best shooting out of all the 3 builds. So keep that in mind. Now moving on to this other stuff, man, body shape does not matter. Like I've been saying for every single build, I'm going to just pick built. But if you want to make a player built, solid, compact, burly, it does not matter whatsoever. However you want your player to look, go ahead and do that. Me personally though, I'm just pick built. Now moving on to the height with this build, again, I recommend you make the build 6'5". The reason for that, you're still going to be able to speed boost with this build. You're tall enough to play great defense. You're driving up to 83. Now let me just clarify something real quick. You're not going to be able to get contact dunks that off rip, but as soon as you hit like 96 overall, 97 overall, you're going to be able to get all the contact dunks to this build besides big man, because you're not a center, obviously. So keep that in mind. Make the build 6'5". Now moving on to the weight with this build, I recommend you lower it all the way down to get better acceleration, better vertical, and better lateral quickness. Pretty simple. Now moving on to the wingspan with this build, I recommend you lower it all the way down so you get even better shooting and even better ball handling. Now also keep this in mind, take a look at your ball handling. It's at 82. You're not going to be able to speed boost that off rip, but say if you pick slasher or playmaker takeover, you'll be able to speed boost with this build when you have takeover. And another thing, say you pick shot creator or something, when you hit 99 overall, you get a +4 to all your attributes. 82 + 4 is going to be 86 ball handling. You're going to be able to speed boost with this build when you hit 99 overall, regardless of which takeover you have, if you pick the slowest wingspan. So keep that in mind. Now I know it's a 6'5" player. Some people are probably saying, I don't want tiny T-Rex arms to this build, completely understandable. If you're one of those people, I would just go default wingspan, just so you have longer wingspan. With this wingspan, you're never going to be able to speed boost unless you pick slasher, playmaker, takeover, so keep that in mind. But if you pick lowest wingspan, you hit 99. Overall, you're going to be able to speed boost regardless of which takeover, so make sure, in my opinion, I would lower it all the way down. Now moving on to takeovers, man, wide variety of takeover options here. It's either slasher, shot creator, sharpshooter, playmaker. Like I said, you want to be able to speed boost, you want to pick slasher or playmaker. I recommend you pick slasher. It's going to give you a +10 to your ball handling, and it's just going to boost most attributes possible. Now if you want shot creator, sharpshooter, go ahead, but honestly, I highly recommend you pick slasher. And you guys can see, here's the build. You have built a scoring machine similar to Derrick Rose, Jamal Murray, and DeJounte Murray. 57 badges. Now we're to get straight into the best badges for this build, man. 57 badges could be very nice. We're to get this to 99 overall real quick. Get this out the way, of course, just like we do in every single video. You know, like I said, when you hit 99 overall, or even not like 97 overall, you're gonna be able to get contact guns to this build. So keep that in mind. You want Hall of Fame contact finisher. I also recommend Giant Slayer Hall of Fame. You are only 6'5". This badge is activated when you go up against anybody that's 6'10" or taller, so keep that in mind. Now you got 8 upgrades left. I recommend you throw on Slithery Finisher as well. It's going to help you drive a lot better. Now with only 4 upgrades left, there are a couple badges I can see you throwing on. Either Fancy Footwork, Lob City Finisher, Relentless Finisher, Consistent Finisher, Acrobat, even Pro Touch. Whatever badge you think is the best, I would personally debate between Fancy Footwork and Lob City Finisher. If you're one of those point guards that likes catching alley-oops to their point guard, you're definitely going to want to consider a Lob City Finisher. But if you don't care about catching alley-oops to your point guard, I would throw on Fancy Footwork personally. Like I said in every single one of my videos, there's plenty of extra badges. You want something else, go ahead and do that. Now moving on to shooting badges, 21 shooting badges. This build has the best shooting out of the other 2 builds, so that's something to keep in mind with this build. You want Hall of Fame quick draw. Obviously, you don't have this badge on, you're not gonna be able to shoot. Pretty simple. I also recommend a range extender at least gold. Since you got the extra upgrades, you might as well do Hall of Fame. You got 3 Hall of Fame badges left and 1 bronze. I recommend Hot Zone Hunter Hall of Fame. It's gonna help you shoot a lot better if you have all your hot zones. I also recommend Hall of Fame Green Machine to help you shoot a lot more greens. And I got 1 Hall of Fame badge left. I would throw on difficult shots with this build. Like I said, this build is pretty much like a Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan build, and you guys know what they did. They would fade away consistently for mid-range and 3-pointers, difficult shots that help you do fadeaway jump shots. You need that badge. Now 1 bronze badge left. I would either do catch and shoot, Deadeye, or even volume shooter, whatever badge you want. I think I'm going to recommend you do Deadeye though to help you shoot a little bit more contested. I think it's going to be the best shooting badges. But moving on to playmaking badges, man, 12 playmaking badges. Compared to the other builds, this is where the build suffers. It still has decent playmaking, but not as much as the other builds. Now you want goal handles for days. Quick first step, I would say Space Creator, Silver, Unpluckable. I think I'm gonna do something like this. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do something like this. With only 12 upgrades, you do gotta compromise a lot, so keep that in mind. But you're not gonna be able to get Dime or Floor General Lob City because you don't have enough upgrades, in my opinion. I think this is gonna be the best combination. But if you want Space Creator higher, Unpluckable higher, you're gonna have to compromise on some of these badges, but I think it's gonna be the best balanced combination. Now moving on to defensive badges, 8 defensive badges. You want gold clamps, I would say gold pick dodger and silver intimidator. Now the reason why I did decide to go silver intimidator is because I feel like pick dodger is a must have, especially you're gonna be getting screened a lot as a point guard, and clamps, you need this badge to stick to that other guard. You need this badge. Now, intimidators that just make people miss shots. You guys know these badges do. Pick dodgers help you fight the Hall of Fame brick wall screens. Intimidators that make people miss shots. And clamps help you clamp that opposing ball handler. Honestly, you gotta throw these badges on. I think it's gonna be the best combination, no doubt. But that's pretty much it, man. That's the top 3 best point guard builds in NBA 2K20 as of patch 10. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did enjoy this video, man, make sure you guys do hit that like button, subscribe. I also forgot to say, we just hit 12K subs not too long ago. I really do appreciate you guys for that. And also, you're watching this video right now, you like what you see, do hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. And also, make sure you guys do hit that like button because this video did take a long time to make. I'm doing this sort of content for you guys, man. So make sure you guys show your appreciation, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And trust me, we're not done. We did cover point guards today, but we are going to be doing shooting guards, small forwards, power forwards, and centers in future videos. So be on the lookout for that, and make sure you subscribe and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on any of those videos. They're going to be great builds. Make sure you guys turn on the notifications. But that's pretty much it, man. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Until next time, clutch out.
I'm feeling your energy, and shorty, man, she really into me. I got lots of enemies, and they wanna act like they friends with me.